everybody, welcome back to another hot episode of a very special podcast. This is the podcast which talk about all of your favorite TV series from yesteryear, and then we discuss them over a glass of grapefruit sparkling water. I'm your boy, Patrick M. Dunn, and I'm joined here, as always, by my favorite homeless student, Kat Halstead, the author. Welcome back.
Hi, Patrick. You know, it's so funny. I almost grabbed a sparkling water before we began, but I decided to go with the good old Coca-Cola. I don't do grapefruit, though. I do the passion fruit.
Yeah, that's what I usually do, too. But you know what? I think I picked up the wrong box, so I don't know. I'll have to deal with it. Yeah, I thought about dipping into some caffeine, but I'm like, it's like 7:30 at my time. I'll be up till like tomorrow, so it's like I might as well just steer clear. All right, welcome back, girl. Welcome back to the most popular podcast for teens now. Apparently, we found out we have like a hot new teen fan base.
Yeah, you have to explain this to me. I'm still like confused, like beyond confused, like how what this went down, like what went down.
All right, so one of my close friends had a little sweet 17. It was a makeup sweet 16 because of COVID last year for her daughter, and she had our little gal pals over. And
okay,
I don't know. Apparently, like they tried to find me somewhere online, and they found a very special podcast, and they've listened to episodes, and I don't know. They're like now enthralled. So now we're like teachers. We're gonna be teaching these young teens, these 17-year-olds, all about what Leonardo DiCaprio's life was like before he was the world's most famous human being.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. Oh my gosh, that's so weird to me. Like, I'm just like, why are these teenage girls looking you up?
I don't know. I mean, I can't stop them.
That's the part I'm kind of like,
because I'm cool.
What?
I'm
Why?
Cool. I listen to cool bands. I don't know. I have a pod, so there you go. Like, I don't know. Like maybe they thought I was like on like social media or something and wanted to like check it out, and I was like, wait, what's this? Hold on. It's an 1.5-hour episode about something called Santa Barbara.
What is that? What is that?
And then they found out the hard way.
Dude, I'm still not even sure what that was.
Call back to, I don't know, like 2 summers ago, we did the soap opera Santa Barbara, the first episode. There was a helicopter scene, I remember that, flying over a bus. I think they were going to shoot a guy on a bus. I don't remember. It was wild.
Yeah, whenever you're in my arms again.
Yes, shout out to the music.
I think I watched like 10 episodes total, like the first 10 episodes, and I was just like, I can't do it. I can't listen to this song.
Ugh, they played it so many times too. I was like, what the fuck is this?
I mean, it was so 80s super couple. You don't get that now. You like don't get pop music on a soap opera. Super couples are very barely a thing. Like
anyway, yeah. So like I just recently watched like the first episode of Passions. I didn't even watch the whole thing because I was like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But the first song they play, I think it's the theme song. I don't really know, but the song that they play in the first episode in the first like 5 minutes is horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous. I was like, what the hell?
Breathe in, breathe out.
Well, that's the theme song, but there was like, I think it was the same. It might have been like an extended version of it. I'm not really sure because it was like, you know how like sometimes like first episodes are always awkward and like the music's not lined up right and shit. They don't really have credits.
I mean, to be fair, I did not watch Passions right away when it started.
What? Were you bitter because it took off AW, Another World?
Yes, it took away my Another World. Another World was my first soap.
Took away that guy with the long gray hair.
Carl Hutchins.
Yeah, Carl Hutchins. Didn't he die in real life? Isn't he like gone from this planet? Yeah, R.I.P. to Charles. Was that his first name? I feel like his name is Charles.
Charles Keating.
Yeah, he's also on an episode of Sex and the City. He's like a painter in like the first season episode, I think. I don't know, just remembered for some reason. All right, enough about him. Enough about the music of Santa Barbara.
Has nothing to do with what we're talking about today, like at all.
No, we're still coming off of Marlena's possession, getting caught in the gilded birdcage, which just recently had like a 25th anniversary.
Oh my, there are so many clips. There are so many clips of like the whole like devil possession, like, floating around daytime because Deidre just had, like, her 45-year anniversary on the show, and I'm just like, oh, man! How is that not one I saw in the stupid YouTube? I'm like, oh, that's a good one. Oh, man.
You know what? Maybe we should have sent her a memo. We should have called up our girl Deidre Hall, friend of the show, We'd have been like, hey, what was your favorite, send us your favorite clips of you floating around Marlena Castle. What are they called? Does it have a name? Does it have like a special, the Evans Estate? Evanswood? I don't know. The Black Manor?
Marlena lives in a penthouse.
Oh, so it's just Marlena's...
with her husband, John Black.
I always felt like she lived in like this, like I've always felt like there was a foyer and like all this like stuff and like high vaulted ceilings.
It's a fancy penthouse. They've always been fancy penthouses.
Okay, this ain't like your run-of-the-mill penthouse, like New York City penthouse with the low ceilings. All right, hold on. You want to do a good sound scenario? It's been a long time since we've done a good sound scenario. Penthouse edition.
Oh, God.
You're, I don't know, you're hanging near a cliff. You're working on your next novel coming soon to a, I don't know, Amazon app near you. And you look over and you see Marlena Evans' penthouse from Days of Our Lives fighting Don Draper's swanky swinging 60s penthouse from like, I don't know, like the last like 2 seasons of Mad Men, the one they lived in with Megan with like the cool balcony that I always thought someone was going to fall off of, like, because the way they were always just like drunk and hanging out on that balcony, it always made me nervous. So we could have like a good sun scenario within the scenario. But I don't know, they're tussling and they've managed to roll off a cliff. You only have the upper arm strength to pull off one penthouse. Which penthouse will you save?
Marlena's, obviously.
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while since I've seen a glimpse of it.
I mean, it's a different penthouse now, but...
Well, like, where did she live in this possession episode that we did last week? I feel like that had, like,
She lived in the old penthouse.
Oh, I feel like there was, like, multiple floors. Are you sure this is just a penthouse?
Yeah, it had multiple stories.
Does she even know what a penthouse... What is a penthouse? What's, like, the actual definition of a penthouse?
I'm gonna get something dirty.
Yeah, I don't even think that's a magazine anymore, is it?
I don't know.
Who knows?
A penthouse is an apartment or unit on the highest floor of an apartment building, condominium, or hotel. Penthouses are typically differentiated from other apartments by luxury features.
So, like, cool woodwork, maybe a cool bookshelf, a balcony, I don't know, a chandelier, maybe, high vaulted ceilings.
Sometimes it referred to a separate, smaller house that was constructed on the roof of an apartment building.
Okay, all right. Good to know. Now that we officially just educated ourselves on what a penthouse is, I think this is a perfect segue. Speaking of penthouses, we're gonna go where? To a New York City suburb?
Yes, Long Island.
Long Island, hang out with our favorite family, or one of them at least. A favorite family?
Top 3 favorite TV families.
Yeah.
For both of us, I would say.
I'm still... Maggie Seaver is my fave TV mom, except in this episode, for some reason, she kind of sucks, but...
No, this is like one of the weirdest Maggie episodes ever.
You know what? I watched a few more episodes after this one, because I needed just like a saving grace moment for Maggie, and I wasn't getting it, so I feel like maybe like they just didn't have the character fully grasped in the final season. Maybe it was Kirk Cameron because he's like starting to be like what, reborn now at this point.
Yeah, he's obsessive reborn
phase
thing. Like I feel like that tension is part of the whole episode.
Maybe he's like fingering the scripts a little bit and changing things because there was like he would always like take out like salacious elements. Like if he had to like I don't know kiss a girl or something on the show, he would like make sure it wasn't. Like, he would cut it out from the scene. And was it Chelsea Noble, who plays his girlfriend in this episode, who's now his wife in real life? Like, they're still married, right?
Yeah, they're still married.
And whenever Kirk Cameron's, like, on a show or a movie or whatever, and he's, like, married to another person on the show, and he has to, like, kiss the character, they get Chelsea Noble to stand in.
I mean, don't they basically just have her play his wife, girlfriend, and everything? Holy crap.
I think they usually do.
How many damn kids do these two have? Holy crap.
I looked this up. They have 4 adopted kids and 2 natural kids.
All I know is when your kids names need the more link on Google, it's probably too many.
Well, I don't know. You know what? They're feeling goodwill back in the day. They were actually married in 1991 when this
Yeah.
like episode of Growing Pains like aired. Like they were already like
Tension and Kirk. He didn't invite his cast members to the wedding.
No, he was like, you guys cannot come. And they're like, all right, whatever. Okay, who cares? So tension is a brewing. You can kind of feel it in this episode, I think.
Yeah,
like,
I feel like there's a lot of tension. I feel like they're trying to like push into this family setting, and it's just so awkward. She just doesn't fit in the way, say, Julie did, or even our beloved Sandy.
I know. Like, shout out to Sandy, R.I.P. Sandy, played by Matthew Perry. And, like, I don't know, maybe like a season or two before this. Well, probably like 2 seasons, because I feel like...
it was probably like 3 seasons.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. It's been a while.
Listen, we're still convinced Matthew Perry was in like 20 episodes, and he was only in like 4.
I was going to bring something up, too, because this kind of like segues into a good thing of it. So, all right, in case you haven't figured it out, we're doing Growing Pains, Season 7, Episode 2. The final season. Like, we're in now, like, the final throw.
Yes.
I guess tension has been brewing on the set of Growing Pains for a while. We get a lot of, like, Kirk Cameron, like, outside the house now. Like, he's got, like, he's a teacher at a high school, I think, of some sort.
Yeah.
And pretty much every scene is there.
Ends up teaching. I don't even remember how we got there.
Like, how he got the job?
Yeah, because remember, like, Mike was trying to be an actor. That's how he met Kate, was in acting class.
Wasn't it like a soap, too?
I think he did try out for a soap.
I feel like one season ended, and then the next one began, and then, like, Kirk Cameron just, like, called the producers and was like, hey, make my character a teacher now. And just they inexplicably made him a teacher, like a high school teacher, without any credentials.
It's freaking Mike Seaver. Like, are you telling me Coach Lubbock suddenly inspired him, like, all this time later?
Well, you know what? Maybe because Coach Lubbock had moved to the other side of the country to form just the 10 of us. So maybe, I don't know, maybe he kind of missed the coach, the good coach, and just kind of was like, you know what? I want to be like him. Now that I'm thinking about it, and I don't know, in between the hot summer break, after he didn't get cast on, I don't know, Loving or something, he decided to, just, I don't know, maybe he went to like a quick, like community college annex class, like late night satellite class, like, I don't know, like one of those, like, every night of the week classes where you just kind of, like, do like 2 years of school in like 4 months. And got his teaching degree.
And you, like, just get that license. You get enough hours to be a substitute teacher, but they're so desperate for teachers, you get a full-time gig.
Yeah, and we'll get into it, because I feel like Mr. Tedesco, who I think is the principal, is fucking crazy. Absolute crazy. Before we get into the wild world of Growing Pains, do you want to go back to September 25th, 1991?
Yeah, let's go back to 1991.
All right, I am so confused because I very specifically remember the final season of Growing Pains being on Saturday nights, but for some reason this episode's on a Wednesday. I don't know why. I don't know if there was like a special presentation.
Really?
Wednesday, September 25th.
I think it started. Did it maybe like it started out like on a Wednesday night and then it moved to Saturdays with Who's the Boss?
I don't think they went into this season as it being the last season of Growing Pains. I think they thought there's going to be, I don't know, another 7 hot years now that they've added America's fastest growing star, Leonardo DiCaprio, to the cast. Mm-hmm. Teenage girls everywhere are going to swoon. They're going to fall over. They're going to run to the store and buy Tiger Beat and the likes. They will eventually, but it wasn't because of this role. But, yeah.
They will, yes. I mean, eventually, every teenage girl in America had Leonardo DiCaprio's picture up in her room.
They did, but it didn't start on this day, September 25th, 1991. A few mere years later.
Yes.
But before we get there, before we get into Leonardo DiCaprio's wild career, that pretty much starts with this show.
It pretty much, yeah. This is like the real jumping off point.
It is. You want to go back to this whole hot night of television? I want to give this, like, I'm going to just say, this is probably a good night of TV. It's probably not the hottest night ever, but there's things. There's things going on. Things that we watch, things that we still watch, things that we talk about regularly on the podcast. So, I don't know. You ready? You want to start off with the boys at ABC?
Yeah, let's start off with ABC. Let's start off at the Alphabet Network. We are being owned by Disney, so you know.
The world is its oyster. Any guesses? Any hot guesses? It's a family-based show. We've done it for the podcast. One episode. It was a request, I believe, from Heather, maybe? Or at least she picked the episode that we did.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know. I don't know what we've done. I don't know what we're planning. I honestly don't know what we've even released and what's just been recorded. I'm going to be completely honest.
All right. Well, we're going to go way back in time, all the way to the time of the dinosaurs. Yeah, dinosaurs.
Oh, okay.
Which was
okay.
Probably like in its peak right here, you think? This is like peak dinosaurs time?
We love the Michael Jacobs joints, so...
Probably I think it started this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Jacobs and Jim Henson Creatures. Yeah, great time. All right. Following dinosaurs, following the Sinclair family, we're going to hang out with another family, the family that we're talking about tonight, Growing Pains. Stop, Luke, and listen. We'll get to you soon. Any hot guesses on what's after Growing Pains? We've done the show before, a long time ago, like second season of the show. It's another hot teen, probably America's most notable hot teen who ended up having a prestigious career way too early in his life. And then, I don't know, he hit puberty and things were going too well for him, I think.
I honestly don't.
Doogie Howser, girl.
Oh my god, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me?
I don't know.
I usually could, I could usually be like, well, was this, why is this not coming to me?
All right. I'm excited about this next half hour. This is a show that I did not hear of until, I don't know, an hour ago when I put this list together. It's a one-season wonder. It's a sitcom called Sibs, S-I-B-S. Do you know this?
What?
Yes, Sibs. This starred Marsha Mason and Alex Rocco as a long-suffering husband and wife, I guess, and her younger sister moves into the house. Actually, two of her younger sister, the Sibs. One's played by Jamie Gertz, and the other one's played by Margaret Collin, who you may know from Eleanor Waldorf Rose on Gossip Girl.
Okay.
So that's Sibs, and I'm kind of going through the whole thing of it, and there's nothing really exciting about this show. This cast just looks wildly boring, to tell you the truth. Dan Castellaneta, who you may know as the voice of Homer Simpson, was on the show too. Of that,
okay.
I don't know. Oh, you know why? Because it's a Sam Simon, James L. Brooks show. So, there we go. That's how it's all tied together. All right, next. You ready for the next show?
Yeah, I don't know, China Beach.
No, I wish. This is another show. We've never done it. We haven't found episodes. It's a show that we kind of, I know I've seen episodes of it. You seem to know a lot more about it than I did, but it's been a show that was kind of like retooled a lot of times. It stars our gal pal, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Richard Lewis. Anything But Love.
Oh, okay.
This was like doesn't she like... Jamie Lee Curtis goes back to her hometown after, like, quitting her, out-of-state job, and she has to, like, start over, and, I don't know, she meets, Richard Lewis, and he's kind of like a trendy guy, I think. He's got, like, something kind of hip about him.
I don't think that's necessarily it.
Okay. I don't know.
Okay, but it's like...
I'm doing this all from memory.
Jamie Lee Curtis meets... Yeah, this is all from, like, the blurry memory of, what, a fucking 10-year-old? Who probably should not have been watching this show.
I mean... Hey, what?
Because the one scene that has lived in my mind rent-free since I was a child is after the two main characters, like, start dating and they sleep together. I remember that Jamie Lee Curtis's character fell asleep during sex, and there's this whole scene about it. And that has lived in my head.
Oh, wow.
For, what, 30 years?
I was going to say, I think I've seen that, but I just think we've talked about it before on the pod.
We've really just talked
I just remember it being a show that they really tried to, like, make it a thing. It was on for a while. It was on for, like, 3 or 4 seasons.
I think also this was, like, Jamie Lee Curtis was, like, one of your it girls at the time.
Yeah. She was,
So, like, she, like, had, like, a big role in a movie, and she got this sitcom at the same time, and, like, nobody expected the movie to be the hit it was. I don't know what movie it was. It could have been A Fish Called Wanda. It could have been, I don't know.
Who knows?
But the ABC was not going to, like, just let this die. They were going to try with this, I think.
Yeah, I think they really tried to, like, latch on to her. I feel like, and it just didn't catch on. Audiences didn't like it, but I don't know. Like maybe it did like okay enough in the ratings, so they thought maybe they keep retooling it, because I think like it was on for a few years and they had like a different premise like every season.
Yeah, there was something like
they like add a new friend group or something.
Like I said, it's all a blur. It is all a blur to my child.
We'll look for it. We'll try to find it.
Except for that one scene.
I'm excited. You want to head over to CBS, a hot night at CBS. I'm excited for this show.
Yeah, I have no clue what's happening, so I feel so off my game. I usually have at least some concept of what's on.
This was a show, I know we've talked about it. I've never actually seen it, but I always hear about it. The Royal Family. It starred Red Fox. This is kind of like his post Sanford and Son show.
Yeah.
It was going to be a big comeback vehicle for him, but he died like maybe they got like a few episodes deep, and he died. So they were like forced to like retool the show. Della Reese is in it. Lorenz Tate. And then so I think they tried to go on like without Red Fox in it. It just didn't really take off, and
we've talked about it.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
We've never seen it.
Yeah, because Red Fox, like, he was, like, they were rehearsing, and he had a heart attack during the rehearse, and everyone thought he was doing his, like, infamous line, so they just kind of, like...
Elizabeth!
Yeah, they just kind of, like, let it go for a few minutes, and then they're like, wait a second, he really is laying on the floor, and I don't know. R.I.P., girl. R.I.P. All right. Following the Royal Family is a show I've never heard of. This is a show that stars... names I don't know. It's a short-lived sitcom. Was on for
oh jeez.
They made 13 episodes. It looks like they only aired like 3 of them. A show called Teach.
Okay.
Ever hear of Teach? This show starred Phil Lewis as Teach Gibson, an African-American music instructor at Winthrop Academy. He's the cool teacher, and he now goes to this predominantly white prep school, and he's the music teacher there, and I don't know, he does whatever cool, hip teachers do at Winthrop Academy. So it's kind of like a take on Preston Prep, like our good teacher there, but the music edition of him.
Yeah, I'll stick to Preston Prep if I can ever find any more of it.
Yeah, actually, this page actually has a Wikipedia page, and the kids who play, I guess they're supposed to be teens. They look way too old. They look like they're like our age. All right.
To be fair, we do not really look our age, though.
That is true. Maybe that's why we have a paling teenage audience.
Maybe.
Because they can relate. All right. You want to end off CBS?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to head over to another show that we talk about all the time on this podcast, but we've never found an episode. I keep saying we're going to do it. We haven't done it yet. Jake and the Fat Men.
Okay.
William Conrad, Joe Penny. One's Jake. The other guy's the Fat Men. They're kind of like cops, I guess. And I don't know, it's procedural. They probably stop crime, fight crime, probably do things off the book. Maybe they do things unorthodoxly. I don't know, they get the job done, though. That's why they still got jobs. And it looks like Fat Man's wearing a cool... like Hawaiian shirt in the picture that I'm looking at, so you know he was down to clown.
Oh my gosh.
All right, and then following Jake and the Fat Men is a show that's still on today. Any guesses? It's now a Saturday night staple, and it's a podcast sometimes.
48 Hours.
Yes, our girl, our Moriarty, she's out there solving murders in Colorado, looking for kidnappers.
We have way too many Colorado murder cases right now.
I feel like I watch 48 Hours or listen to the pod 3 or 4 times a year, and it's always like a case in Colorado, and it just makes me excited. I don't know.
We have the poor boy who was murdered just outside Durango. His father is finally on trial for that.
Aww.
We have the poor boy whose stepmom murdered him here in the Springs.
Aww.
The one who fled to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, shut up. You know what? Maybe they're fans of the podcast, and they were like...
And then there's the weird, creepy guy who looks like you, who was found guilty of killing his wife.
Yeah, you sent that one to me, and I was
or baby mama.
Kind of creeped out. So many ties.
Yeah, that freaked me out. He looks so much like you, but and his name is Patrick as well, so I was like,
Yeah, maybe we'll do it for an episode of 48 Hours. Have they done that? Have they done that case yet?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll dig it up. All right. You went on the night on NBC. I think this is like a hot night on NBC. This is gonna like stale Cat's Thunder.
God, I hope I know what's on. Okay, hold on. It's 1991.
8 o'clock. It's an hour long.
It's Wednesday night.
Hour long show.
Hold on.
All right. We've done it for the pod. We pretty much have done this whole night on NBC.
I'm thinking for a sec. I just need 1991. We have Unsolved Mysteries.
You got it.
I want to say Law and Order.
No. I feel like Law and Order was like on a different night.
Maybe.
At this time, anyway. We got two sitcoms. We got two sitcoms coming up on the 9 o'clock hour. Two sitcoms we've done. One of them is a beloved... Actually, they're both beloved shows.
Seinfeld and Night Court.
You got it. Not in the right order, but Night Court and Seinfeld. And then, 10 o'clock, we end off with a sci-fi show. A show we've never done for the pod. I used to watch it sometimes. I think you've said you've seen it a few times.
Quantum Leap.
Yes, you got it.
This night I get...
Good job. You got 5 AVSP coins that you can redeem at the AVSP, I don't know, Cafe Press store. You can get a...
That does not exist.
$40 AVSP Cafe Press mug, which doesn't exist yet. All right, so that's the night of television. Looking back at a whole, thinking about the whole night. How many Hawaiian shirts would you give this?
ABC is a pretty good night.
Yeah, they're not too bad.
ABC is rocking it. So is NBC. CBS is kind of a dud.
Yeah, CBS is just kind of throwing shit at the wall, seeing what sticks. And I don't know.
Like, what is this, CBS?
Yeah, I feel like 48 Hours is still kind of new, so it's still probably experimental at this time.
Yeah, this is like early in 48 Hours. It's not like...
I think Dan Rather was still probably on it at this point.
But yeah, so like you have a pretty good night at ABC. I can pretty much guarantee I watched ABC for the majority of the night. I definitely hit up NBC for Night Court.
Yeah, it's on against Doogie Howser though, so this is kind of like I'm in a pickle here.
But I feel like this is where Doogie kind of was getting a little more grown up.
Really? You think so?
I think.
I feel like it was more like 93-ish, like when he gets like older. I feel like we're still kind of like peak Doogie right now. I don't know what the time frame is.
This might be the start though of like where he's starting to get to that point where it's like, oh, Doogie's gonna actually like talk about sex.
Yeah, Doogie's losing his voice and
compared to like where it's just a joke for John Larroquette's character.
Yes, it's happening. It's happening. Yeah, you know what? I probably watched Dinosaurs Growing Pains. I probably flipped over to Unsolved Mysteries during the commercials of Dinosaurs and Growing Pains. You know what? I 100% for a fact know I was watching Growing Pains this night because I remember this episode, and I've only seen this episode once, and it had to have been this night.
Yeah, I very clearly remember this episode.
And you know what? I was like glued to the screen, so I might have just skipped Unsolved Mysteries altogether. Maybe it was like caught it on Lifetime. I don't even know it was on Lifetime yet. But then I probably went over to Doogie, and I didn't watch Seinfeld at the time, so I definitely...
Yeah, I didn't watch Seinfeld at the time either, so I was definitely watching Jamie Lee Curtis and stuff.
So I probably wanted to stay up to watch Quantum Leap, but it was on at 10, and I was probably like... I probably watched I probably watched a little bit of Sibs. And it was probably like, this is fucking horrible, and then just went to bed. Or played like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Got like 20 minutes of Sonic in. Alright, so I'm gonna give this night a 4. It's I think CBS kinda like fucks up the whole
CBS
flow.
Fucked the night up, but ABC and NBC totally brought it.
That's why I get a 4. It would have been a 5 if I don't know, a rerun of Design and Women was on and something.
Like if we knew something that was on.
Yeah, like
CBS besides like 48 Hours. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know how long Jake and the Fat Man was on for, but I feel like it's winding down at this point.
I just remember my mom watched it. That's like all I remember.
All right, hold on. You want the full Monty on Jake and the Fat Man? It started in 1987. Ended in 1992, so this is the last season of it. It was in its 5th season. I think by then... Oh, okay. So this might have been the season they changed filming locations. I guess it was always filmed in LA, and then for whatever reason they moved the show to Hawaii. Joe Penny lost a large amount of weight when he moved to Hawaii, and everyone thought he had AIDS, but he actually had a virus.
What?
And people were just so upset that he lost all this weight. So they just kind of like abandoned the show. But then they moved the show back to Los Angeles, I think. So maybe they were back in Los Angeles at this point. Controversy corner.
I have no words. Not at all.
Did you know that this show... hold on, this is wild to me. I wasn't ready for this. Have we ever talked about this? This is a Diagnosis Murder. Diagnosis Murder is a spin-off of this show.
Yes, we talked about this when we talked about Dick Van Dyke.
I feel like I did know that, but I just completely forgot about it till right now. And then it actually started off... Diagnosis Murder was an episode of Jake and the Fat Man. People liked it, so then they did 3 television films of Diagnosis Murder. Then they were just like, fuck it, and they just did a Diagnosis Murder TV series. Mm-hmm. And Dick Van Dyke also used to do the computer graphics on Diagnosis Murder because he got super into computer graphics in like the early 90s or something. So I don't know. That's at Night of Television, even though Diagnosis Murder has nothing to do with it. You ready? You ready to stop, Luke, and listen? Season 7, Episode 2 of Growing Pains. Probably
yes.
The wildest episode of Growing Pains. Probably not the wildest episode of Growing Pains ever, but a wild episode.
I would say, okay. The wildest episode of Growing Pains, I would actually say, is when Mike goes to France.
Yeah, I'd say that. And, like, I feel like the 2 episodes that we've done, too, like the one where Ben, like, doesn't exist anymore, and then also...
Oh, yes.
And also the one where Sandy dies is another whole, like, that's like a whole wild swing of events that happens.
I love the Growing Pains world.
I will say...
I wish Growing Pains was just, like, on TV, like... There was, like, a Pluto TV channel that was just Growing Pains 24/7.
It was, because like, I feel like, didn't you watch the Night of the Iguana episode that way? It was, like, a few years ago.
Man, the only reason I even have ever heard of Night of the Iguana is Growing Pains.
It is because of Growing Pains. I love it. All right, so we're in Season 7 of Growing Pains. There's a lot of turmoil between Kirk Cameron and the crew. Kirk Cameron spending a lot of time at the school in this episode. I'm like, this is kind of weird. He's only in like one house scene, pretty much.
Yeah.
And like the family's like barely interacting with him. And ratings are on the decline. There's trouble with Tracy Gold. This is like, I think over the summer, she like full blown got
She's scary.
Crashed into that whole weight loss thing. Like, she looks really thin in this episode. This might have been like the skinniest she's ever been.
Like, well, because remember, like, there's a point in this season where they could not let Tracy work. The insurance would not cover her because she was so sick. Like, they forced her into rehab. They barely were even allowed to let her in the finale.
Yeah, I think this is probably the humble beginnings of that, because her character moves to college, but it must be nearby because she's always like driving home and like having dinner with the family, and she like spends the night this episode.
Yeah, cause it's just like Columbia or NYU, I don't remember which one, because she like took that time off and she was working at like the magazine, and she like rose really quickly without even like going to college yet.
Yeah, good for her. They just had to find a way to write her off.
Yeah.
So, you know, we kind of got some drama with Kirk Cameron. We got some drama with Tracy Gold. I'm guessing Jeremy Miller, who plays Ben, the youngest son on the show. I feel like his character as he got older just was not as interested anymore. Like his character didn't develop properly, I guess. Like, he just always acted the same.
You know, he went from the cute little kid,
awkward teen,
to they didn't know exactly where Ben would be as a teenager, because we already did all the like bad boy with a heart of gold stuff with Mike.
Yeah.
Carol was the genius. Ben was just kind of there. Ben will forever be a character who is just trying to find his way. Because, like, even in the reunion movies, Ben is, like, completely lost.
He's kind of like that Brady kid who ends up becoming a race car driver. Like, he just doesn't know his place.
Bobby, yeah.
And you like Bobby. Like, he has to, like, lie to his family that he's a race car driver. He's like, isn't he like, he like tells him he's something else, and he's like secretly driving cars. Or I don't know what the storyline was, but I don't know. I just feel like the writers were just like, what do we do with Ben? Like, I don't know what to do with Ben. He's just Ben. So they're like, we just need to, and like Chrissy is the young girl. I don't think she was like clicked with audiences really though, because there's just I don't get anything from her character. Like I never did. She was just like there. Like all of a sudden she was a baby in one season, then the next year she's like a 6-year-old child. And then we're just supposed to accept her.
Yeah, like she had that super, like, I remember the first time I saw Chrissy as a little girl. I was like, wait, she was a baby. Babies don't age that fast. It's like the first time I saw them, like, age a character like that.
Oh, that was wild.
I was so confused.
She's a dud. Even in the reunion movies, like, her character has no place there, to me anyway.
She's like a weird hybrid of a kind of Mike and Carol, but she's very much like Ben, just kind of like trying to figure herself out. She doesn't have like the clearer paths that they had. Personalities. Like,
that is true.
You know, when the show starts, you have Mike and Carol and they play off each other. They're close enough in age that they have that ability to tell stories together, but also apart. But then you get to the point where you can't really do a Carol Ben story. They just don't. There's too much of an age difference, and you definitely can't. You can do a little Mike and Ben stuff, but not. And you definitely can't do Ben and Chrissy very often, you know. So that's how we end up with Luke.
Yeah. So because the character of Ben was like he was just always the young child who would call his like sister butthead and stuff, and like I don't know. They played pranks on her, and he pretty much kept that character description through the whole series. He's acting like that in this episode. Like, oh yeah, like there's like he's still calling her like pig face and stuff. Like,
there's a moment where I'm just like, I am pretty sure they broke character.
Probably. And yeah, like so I said, like this is like why they had to bring in the character of Luke. It's they just needed to like kind of do like a palate cleanser, like refresh the show. I guess at like one point in time, there were probably like teenage girls everywhere watching the show for Kirk Cameron, but I don't know, maybe that time had passed. I don't know, ABC needed that beloved, like, teenage girl demographic, so, I don't know, they went out to the casting coach, they just kind of had all these people come in, maybe read a few lines here and there, and they found this kid. He used to be on the Parenthood TV series, but that, unfortunately got canceled. No one remembers it except for me. And there's this young buck, Leonardo DiCaprio. I think he's did commercials and stuff too. I feel like he's been around. Like
he's hanging out with Soleil Moon Frye. He's in the Rolodex.
Yeah, but I feel like it's because of this role right here. Kind of puts him in the mind's eye, so to say.
Maybe, I don't know. There was a lot of people like she was hanging out with that were not names then, but are names now.
That is true. So he kind of like comes in and he's actually like not a horrible character. He's actually like a pretty decent character. I could have watched like 7 more seasons of him on the show, like playing this kid, go around into a young adult. But I don't know. I guess they just moved the show to Saturday night. Like no teens are watching it on a Saturday night, and
no.
Like, not even, like, halfway into the season, Leonardo DiCaprio got offered the role of the movie This Boy's Life, and he's like, I'm fucking doing it. So, ABC, like, gave him permission to do it. So, like, he was, like, not be in some episodes. At, like, some point, like, his dad comes, like, they find his, like, real dad, not, like, his abusive stepfather. And, he, like, hangs around the house a little bit, and then it's like a few episodes before the last episode of the show. Like, he just, like, moves in with them.
Yeah, he officially leaves a few episodes before.
And then Leonardo DiCaprio, like, obviously then went on to, I don't know, like, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, The Basketball Diaries, Romeo and Juliet, Titanic, The Man with the Iron Face, The Beach, Catch Me If You Can, and so on, The Departed. And, like, I wondered, like, does he sit down and, like, ever think about this show? Because I feel like he probably has, like, no recollection of it. Like, it's just, like, a dirty time of his life. I don't know. Like,
I think I read something where he doesn't really, like, remember much of it.
I found there's an interview with him and Brad Pitt from, like, 2019, whenever he did that Quentin Tarantino movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And the interviewer brought up the fact that they were both on Growing Pains. It's not the same time.
No.
And, like, neither of them, they were, like, so confused. They were like, oh, yeah, that's right. Like, I did this show. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand it for Brad because he, like, did a lot of smaller roles, you know, before, you know, Thelma and Louise. Like, he had rolled on Another World for a while.
Yeah, he was like a day player, like a Hollywood day player. You just needed a guy. You needed a guy to look a certain part.
I mean, Brad Pitt definitely played the role of the rock musician who was an asshole to Ben pretty damn well.
Yes, I forgot about that episode. We'll have to do that one next.
That was actually going to be, like, the other episode I suggested if we didn't do this one.
Okay, well, I'm glad we did this one. So, like, it blows my mind that Leonardo DiCaprio just, like, shunned this from his past, because it's not a horrible show. It's not, like, completely horrible. There actually is, like, good storylines. Like, I watched, like, a few more episodes. And I really thought they wrote the character well. He, like, integrated into the cast pretty well. Performed well in it. Like, he actually, like, out-acted, I think, everyone on the show. Looking back and watching this.
I mean...
And I don't know, like, I'm suspecting maybe he had, like, a bad time on the set. Maybe Kirk Cameron was meddling with it. And
yeah,
who knows? Like,
I was just kind of thinking, this is like a peak Kirk Cameron being kind of a dick.
Yeah, so...
behind the scenes. Wouldn't you want to block that out?
All right. And then his agent's like, hey, we got this movie, This Boy's Life. I think it's like a Robert De Niro directed movie or something.
Yeah, it's a De Niro film.
And he's like, I'm fucking doing it. He's like, Growing Pains, the show is on a Saturday night.
It's like, peace out, bye.
It's been on for 7 seasons. The ratings are, like, horrible. I mean, I love Joanna Kearns, but...
Alan Thicke, he's cool.
But, I don't know, like, their time's up.
There's too much craziness with the others. I'm out. I'm sick of the Bible being, like, shoved under my dressing room door.
Maybe he thought he'd get to hang out with Boner all the time, but, like, Boner's, like, not even on the show anymore, I don't think.
Oh, yeah, he was long gone.
Yeah, like, he didn't even, like, stick around.
Well, Boner joined the army.
They needed, like, a new Boner, and...
Ben kind of filled that.
How do we get Luke Brower, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, how do we get him to the house? Do you want to go over this wild episode?
Okay.
Because it's wild.
Okay, so this episode starts at 5:30 in the morning.
Ugh.
And we see Jason Seaver coming down the stairs, like, something's not right in the house. He knows something's not right. He's hearing noise from the kitchen, and he grabs a freaking coat rack and bursts into the kitchen.
Like, those old big-ass coat racks. Not like the newer style ones, but, like, it's like an antique coat rack. It's huge. It's probably...
Yeah, it's like this huge, bulky thing, and that probably could take somebody out.
It probably weighed 40 pounds.
He, like, busts down that door. Like, you know he had to go to Home Depot later and get a new kitchen door.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He probably hit, like, walls on the way there, too.
Maggie's up. She is making a 14-hour dill bread. Because this is the first time Kate is coming to dinner.
They know Kate. They've met Kate, right? I don't know. I get so foggy here.
That's one of the reasons this kind of has always been weird to me. Like, I think they've met Kate. I think this is the first time they're, like, inviting her in for a family dinner, though.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, maybe they're a little nervous because of the whole Mike Julie thing. They're like, I don't know. We're not going down this again.
So Kate is Mike's girlfriend. She's a model / actress.
Yes, that he met in his acting class. She was actually, like, dating the teacher.
They're all acting like she's, like, a Cindy Crawford type. And she's just, like, she has, like, one pretty much job ever, and it's on the cover of some, like, Seed magazine, is what they say.
Yeah, the Seed catalog.
Yeah, which Ben owns, by the way. We have to throw that out there.
Okay, it's like Andrew Keegan in 10 Things I Hate About You, where he's, like, the model, but it's all, like, local stuff for, like, the shoe store down on Main Street. Maybe if you're lucky, you get into, like, the local Penny's ad.
I just think it's so weird that, you know, they established that she is on the cover of a Seed catalog, and then Ben admits to owning it, and he, like, has it in his room. So I'm just like, what the Ben, you little rascal. Like,
I feel like Mike probably had, like, 30 copies and handed them out, because he's like, look, guys, Kate's on the cover.
Do you think this is, like, a free catalog you get, like, next to the penny saver?
Yeah, probably.
Like, at the local I don't know, 7-Eleven or something, Store 24.
Hardware store or something.
Oh, yeah, like Ace Hardware, True Value or something. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Does Mike live in the garage now? I'm trying to remember.
This is when Mike is living in his room above the garage, which...
It's so 90s.
It is. And let me tell you, living in the garage is not that cool.
It probably was for Mike Seaver in 1991, who... How he's like, what, early 20s at this point? Like 23 maybe?
Yeah.
22, 23-ish?
Yeah, definitely 22-ish, I think.
He wanted to move out, but he couldn't afford it, so he just gets the cool room above the garage. He's got a little bit of independence.
A little bit. He can... Well, before Kate, Mike was a ladies' man. There were girls coming and going all hours. All hours.
Oh, yeah, he had his little rumpus room up there. He was like Hugh Hefner, the local Hugh Hefner. Ben wishes.
Man.
Ben wishes.
That's the Mike Seaver I love.
Yes. So Ben's side storyline this whole episode is like, he's infatuated with Kate, and he like secretly hopes that Kate has teenage model friends, which she never confirms nor denies.
Yeah, I'm sure she's met some. They probably get more work than her.
She's friends with like the 1991 version of Misha Barton, maybe. Jenny Garth, I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Like, yeah.
Did I just compare those two?
You did. I'm sure Kate, like, has a group of friends, maybe.
Maybe she knows Allison Sweeney.
Maggie's up. She's making this bread. It takes 14 hours to rise. Jason's like, I thought you liked Kate. And Maggie's like, what do you mean? I like her. He's like, but you're making my grandmother's dill bread. So I'm so confused. Like, I can't imagine this is good bread if it's like...
Yeah, I was trying to think. Maybe it tastes bad, and she's only making it because... I don't know, she doesn't want Kate to have a good meal. Like, I don't know. This doesn't make any sense at all. Because, like, why would you slave over, like, this 14-hour bread if you don't like the person who you're making it for?
I can guarantee you my future mother-in-law would never slave over a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, let alone 14-hour dill bread.
I don't know. This is just a weird... This is like red flag Maggie moment number 1. Her character is so manic in this episode, and they like she keeps like insisting that she likes Kate, and like these little things pop up, and it's like she's trying so hard, but by the end of the episode she cracks, and it's just like a slow descent into madness.
Yeah.
And it's weird because, like, it kind of... This, like, descent into madness kind of, like, continues into the next episode, too. And, like, a few others after. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Maggie Seaver in Season 7 of Growing Pains. Was she hitting menopause? Like, I don't know what's going on in her world. Like, who knows? I feel like she's too young for that, but what do I know?
I think this is around the time Maggie started staying at home again.
Okay.
And Jason was going into an office.
Oh, okay. Well, we know...
I'm guessing this is around that time.
Well...
Where she was doing more, like, freelance at home kind of stuff.
Well, Maggie takes a new job in the last episode.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like the catalyst for the end of the series. Because they leave town. So maybe this is kind of like building up to that. But they didn't quite know it was...
Yeah.
But in their world, it makes sense.
Yeah, so... Maggie and Jason are up. Jason's like, what the hell? I thought you liked Kate. Mike comes in, and Mike is, like, chipper. He is peppy. He is awake.
Yeah, which is, like, out of character for him.
It is 5:30 in the morning, and this man, I want to slap him. He is so freaking happy.
He's ready.
And they're like, dude, this ain't right. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, something's bothering him.
And he's, like, excited to go to work.
No, but,
he's excited that he's got students getting A's. It's so weird.
He couldn't sleep. He mentions that he couldn't sleep because... The number of students in his class gotten A's doubled, and it was Luke Brower, and they just mentioned him like as if he's like as if they know who he was. Like, oh yeah, Luke got an A. Like we're supposed to know who he is, and also like Jose Nunez also got an A, which is really weird.
Yeah,
and it's been bothering me all night. So like that's why I'm up early. And then I don't know. He must have had coffee. Then he was ready to face the day. But we'll meet Jose Nunez in a few minutes. And oh my god, this fucking kid.
Well, I think the episode before this was like Mike's first day of teaching, and we saw him like interacting with kids and like being like, "Oh, this is how we do it."
I don't know. Who knows?
Kind of thing.
We kind of like cut over to the school. like we're not in class yet. I think we're like in the hallways or somewhere, like in like the basement. I don't really know where we are. We're like somewhere weird.
There's like a storage room. There's a storage room, and Mike is getting a bulletin board
To bring.
because all good classrooms have the bulletin board. But not this classroom. He has to go, like, find one in the storage room so he can, like, put up their papers.
So he's, like, talking to Mr. Tedesco, who I think is the principal. I'm not really sure. They don't really specify, like, what he is.
If he's not the principal, he's, like, the administrator.
Of some sort, yeah.
Like, school secretary, like, kind of guy.
He is crazy. He is batshit insane.
I love him so much. He's so obsessed with this damn cat.
Yeah, he believes that there's a stray cat in the school that he's been trying to catch for the last couple of weeks. Because I guess it's like fresh into the school year, like we're a few weeks in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, he keeps like stealing food, I don't know, like leaving remnants of food around, making a mess, knocking things over. Mike doesn't care. He's like, whatever, I just want my fucking bulletin board, Mr. Tedesco. He's like, can you just open up the storage closet for me? So he hands him, he's like, it's the blue key, it matches the blue lock. He's like, don't let the kids know, because then they'll know how to get in here. And he's like, okay, Mr. Tedesco, okay. So he goes in. He, like, runs in real quick, just throws the light on, grabs the bulletin board. And when he, like, picks up the bulletin board, like, the bulletin board moves out of the way. You see, like, a little, like, mattress and, like, comforter and pillow on the floor.
There's, like, this whole, like, little bed setup. And Mike's like, that's weird. But he doesn't really, like, give it a thought. To be honest, possibility it could be Mr. Tedesco.
I also had another theory that I think that Mr. Tedesco lives in the school also.
The way he's obsessed, like, and he's like, don't let the kids know about, like, the key code. What you hiding, sir?
I feel like on the opposite side of the school, there's a door with a red lock, and that's where Mr. Tedesco lives.
Probably.
Somehow, by chance, him and Luke Brower, spoiler alert, he ends up being the homeless kid at the school, and never cross paths. And another reason I feel like Mr. Tedesco creates the stray cat storyline is because he wants to keep the scent off him too.
Oh, totally.
So I feel like if Mike had seen the bed, like if he would suspect anything, he would think of Mr. Tedesco.
The fact that we both thought that. I mean, come on.
We didn't discuss this previously, also, so...
Nope.
He heads back up to the classroom, and he hangs up the bulletin board. He tacks on the two papers, the two A's. It's just like a piece of paper with a giant red A on each of them. It's great. And he's doing, like, roll call. Mm-hmm. Jose Nunes is there, who ends up being, like, a meathead. So you know that he's, like, copying Luke's paper.
Oh, totally.
He calls Luke's name. Luke doesn't answer. But then Luke comes in, like, 2 minutes late. And he's wearing, like, an apron that says, like, Soho Pete's or something. Like, Soho Pete's Deli or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was, like, stuck at work or something. I don't know, like, those, like, bread rolls don't bake themselves or something. we kind of get, like, a weird little interaction between,
Yeah.
I guess, it's because it's the beginning of school, they all have to fill out, like, emergency, contact cards. I don't know. It's like it's a whole thing. There's a whole like dialogue.
Yeah, it's this whole stupid thing. Like, okay, I remember when I moved to Colorado, I was in like one class, and there were like three of us girls who were like all new and all starting like the same day, and the teacher's like, "Okay, you guys are gonna be like each other's like homework buddies or something," and I'm like, I don't know my number.
Your phone number? Yeah.
Like we literally moved in like 2 days ago. I don't know my phone number.
Yeah, because Luke mentions that he had just moved into town. Like, he's a new student to the school. Mm-hmm. It's a really small class, too. There's only 15 students in it.
Yeah, it's a small class.
It's kind of weird. So,
you know, they're high achiever.
He hands out the cards anyway, and they hand it back to Mike. He never counts the cards, though. Like, he doesn't realize he's missing one. So he takes it to Mr. Tedesco. In
all honesty, I don't think I would think to count the cards.
No, you just take them and just hand them in. Mr. Tedesco, like, starts working on them immediately. And he notices one's missing, and he's like, it's that new kid, Luke Brower, who has no student record. He, like, opens up the file cabinet, and it's, like, an empty filing cabinet. He's like, that's where his record should be, right there.
Yeah.
And he's like...
in the Zach Morris file.
And he's like, okay, well, I'll have him fill it out tomorrow. Like, you know, it's the end of the school day. And he's like, oh, no. He's like, no. This is, like... School District 9 Emergency Protocol 47G is going into effect right now. He's like, okay, well, what's that? That means I have to have all 15 emergency contact cards. He's like, what if there's an emergency? And he's like, well, the school day's over. I don't think it's going to matter.
Right? Like,
but I guess he's going to get like kicked out of school if he doesn't have this card back. So he doesn't want it to lose the student. So he doesn't know how to call him, but he's like, oh, wait, I'll call Soho Pete's Deli. And he calls up and he asks for Luke. And what happens, Kettle, said the author. What happens?
they say, we don't have anybody by that name
What?
working here. We got nobody.
What do you mean?
Don't know who you're talking about.
What? There's no one named Luke Brower that works at Soho Pete's Deli?
No teenage boys, no white teenage boys with blonde hair, blue eyes. Nope, sorry.
5'8", wears baggy jeans. He doesn't come by every morning?
Nope.
I don't get it. Something's afoot.
And Mike immediately thinks to the bed in the storage room and goes down there. Like, he distracts Mr. Tedesco. He's like, hey, it's the cat. And he steals the keys. And he goes down to the storage room and he finds Luke there laying down, reading.
Chilling on bed, reading his French book. Yeah. Oh, it's great. He's like so chillaxed.
He's just like, okay, I gotta go to school. Like, here's the thing. Luke could have avoided all of this if he had just put some random shit down.
Right? I was thinking, like, why didn't he just write down, like, a fake address? He could have put down Soho Pete's Deli address, if you were to know an address. A fake phone number, like, I don't know, make up parents' information, because I don't think they actually verify this information. They only just need to call if it's an emergency.
They just need to have it. If he had just put, like, some BS down on that damn card.
He could have been living large at the, fucking weird high school. What kind of high school is this, too, by the way?
So, I think it's, like, a low-income sweat hogs type high school, I think. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I was getting major sweat hog vibes from these students, too.
Like, in all honesty, should not be in that class, just like Horshack didn't need to be with the sweat hogs.
I just feel like it was really easy for him to integrate into the school. Like, maybe he... Like, this is like the Dangerous Minds neighborhood, I think, where Mike teaches, where they probably...
Yeah.
You know, maybe, like, it wouldn't be weird if parents didn't show up for parent-teacher conference, because no one knows what the family dynamic is like for any of these students.
I'm guessing Luke's probably not the only one who didn't have parents to put info down for. He's just the only one stupid enough to not turn in a card.
I feel like that's also true. And I feel like if it came to a point, like, where he had to have an adult, he probably could have just gone down to, like, Soho Pete's Deli and just, like, found, like, I don't know, the fucking sandwich maker and was like, hey, Soho Pete, do you think you could just be my emergency contact for whatever reason? Like,
Yeah, can you just, like, pretend you're my dad for, like, I'll give you, like, $20.
Yeah, he can scrimp up $20, and I feel like he'd probably take it.
Or he could just find, like, the homeless guy down the street, be like, hey, I'll get you a free sandwich from Soho Pete.
Yeah, like, you know what? Hey, I'll feed you every day if you just pretend to be my dad, and, like, when the time comes for you to come to the school, all you gotta do is just, I don't know, just go down to the Salvation Army, get, like, a $10 suit.
Yeah.
And just show up and just agree with everything that Mr. Tedesco and this guy, Mr. Seaver, have to say. I don't know. I guess he's street smart and he's book smart, but he's, like, not fully street smart, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, like, there are things, like, okay, let's be real. If teenage Mike Seaver had been a homeless teen, for whatever reason, he would have been smart enough to fake an address on that damn card.
Yeah, it's like put Boner's address or something, you know?
Like, something.
But also part of me, I kind of feel like that maybe Luke wanted to get caught.
I think so too. Because, okay, one, he's living in the school. He was bound to get caught eventually by Mr. Tedesco, if not by Mike, or by some other teacher.
Yeah, like a janitor is gonna maybe they send someone in at some point to, I don't know, get a desk. Maybe like Jose Nunez breaks a chair or a desk one day and they have a spare in this closet. They're gonna have to go down and get it. I don't know. It seemed like a good place for him to live temporarily. It wasn't like a good long-term goal for him, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Yeah. I don't know. But as soon as Mike finds it out, he's, like, really defensive. He's, like, really argumentative. He's like, I'm not living here. And he's like, you have a fucking TV with cable. There's a box with cable. You have like a shelf with like all your stuff on it, and there's a mattress on the floor. And he's like, no, this is like where I just come to like hang out.
Dude, no.
He like takes off, like Luke takes off, and oh wait, no, hold on. So he's gonna take Luke up to Mr. Tedesco. He's like, we're gonna have to confront Mr. Tedesco because like, you'll hear what he has to say. Luke's like, but I don't want to go to like the Fenster Hall type place that like they always send like the wayward kids in the Punky Brewster universe.
Right? Yeah.
I don't want to go there. You know what? He probably like escaped from there. Let's be real.
Oh, totally.
He was like in that little like
100%
wayward teen home. He escaped because it was horrible. Who knows what they're like? Like TV shows always make them out to be like this horrible place, but I feel like it's a roof in New York City. Winter's coming. It's gonna be cold.
Right?
Maybe it's not so bad. I imagine the storage closet doesn't have heat. It's probably fucking cold in there.
Listen, Luke would scrounge up a space heater somehow.
Yeah, he probably would. Yeah, it's those old-timey ones. He'd probably burn the school down. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Luke's, like, sitting outside Tedesco's office, and, like, Kirk goes in, and he's like, I found your cat. I don't know why it doesn't just come out right away. It says, like, it's a kid, not a cat. But we go through this whole, like...
back and forth where Tedesco thinks he's talking about the cat, and he's like, no, I'm talking about Luke Brower.
But by that point, Luke has, like, heard Tedesco say enough, because he's like, no, we're going to send that cat down the river. He's like, we're going to put it to sleep.
Yeah, so...
like, all this horrible stuff. Like, Luke cannot be, like, there's no way Luke is, like, he's talking about me. He's talking about a fucking cat. Like, he has to be. And, like, Mike doesn't even pick up on it either, because he goes, like, lets him go on for, like, 5 minutes.
Well, he's like, he's a child. He's a human. And Justin's like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm talking about cat, man.
Like, there's, like, a whole point. He's like, I think we should take it to a good home. And he's like, no, we're gonna kidnap it, tie it up in a sack. We're gonna beat it. I'm like, whoa.
It gets like really dark.
So like Luke takes off.
Oh my
and,
goodness.
Mr. Tedesco doesn't really care. He's like, whatever. He's like, just another. Do you know how many shitty kids have gone through this school? There's just one less I gotta deal with.
Right? He was never really supposed to be here anyway, so I don't give a damn. Bye!
Yeah, he never even filled out the card. Mike knows. He's like, I know where he's at. So he goes down to the fucking Lady in the Tramp alley that's behind Soho Pete's Deli. It's that, like, typical set where it's like you can... It's like that open door that, like, you can see into the restaurant, and you see, like a guy in the kitchen scrubs, and he's, like, I don't know, making sandwiches or something. And then there's, like, 4 trash cans, like Oscar the Grouch trash cans, like, lying around.
Yep, and it's just, like, snatches a sandwich. He, like, sneaks in, snatches a sandwich, and then goes and hides behind, like, a tall dumpster.
Yeah, he goes in, like, he puts the apron on, he, like, goes in and pretends he's, like, a busboy or something, and just takes all, like, I don't know, the food that people don't eat, hides behind the dumpster. Then, like, Mike comes strolling up, and he's like, hey, boy, he's like, you know, I know you don't work here. I called Soho Pete. Soho Pete didn't know who you are.
Yeah.
He's like, why don't you just come, like, spend the night at my house. He's like, you can sleep in my sister's bedroom. Carol's gone. Carol's gone for the week. You know, she's in college. And before we kind of get to Luke deciding to stay at the Seavers house, you want to cut over to our B storyline, which is the dinner, the infamous dinner.
Oh my god. So, okay. So, 1, Kate shows up at Mike's class earlier in the day, and she's got 2 dresses, like this skin-tight, sexy number, and this more, like, mature, brown print dress. It's a very nice dress. It's a beautiful dress when it's on. Not so much on the hanger. But Mike is like, yeah, wear this one, because the teenage boys, like, hoot and holler over that other dress.
Yeah, they're all at the door, like, banging on the door.
Yeah, they're like, woo! Yeah. You know, like teenage boys in the 90s.
Is this class all guys? I feel like it was all guys in Mike's class, too, for some reason. Is this like an all-boys school? Like an all-troubled boys school?
I don't know. I feel like Jason somehow got him the job.
Like he knew a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy who could get him the job. Yeah, that's like, it's probably the only place that'll take a new teacher with this, like, shifty teaching credential certificate.
Right? Oh my god. Kate's, like, nervous because she thinks Maggie doesn't like her, though up until now, Maggie has given no indication that she doesn't like Kate.
I feel like it's never come up. Like, this is the first time in the history of the series, because I feel like she's in, like, a bunch of episodes leading up to this.
Yeah, maybe...
Like, at least 2. At least 2.
She's in a few, because So then we get to the dinner, and Maggie and Kate are wearing the exact same dress. Personally, I think it actually looks better on Maggie.
100% looks better on Maggie. It wasn't Kate's colors. It wasn't a good color for Kate. No. Good color scheme. And they're expecting Mike.
And he's just not there.
They don't know where Mike is.
He hasn't called. He hasn't been he's totally forgotten about this dinner. Completely forgotten about this dinner. Maggie has slaved away all day on this damn dill bread. She made a pot roast with the veggies. Looks like a pretty decent meal. I would love to have that. I mean, I'm having chicken tacos tonight, but looks like a pretty damn good meal.
Yeah, not too shabby. Looks good. Veggies look good too.
Carol randomly shows up. She's like, my roommate kicked me out. Blah, blah, blah. Just ignore me. I'm just here. What's up?
Where's Mike? No Mike. We don't know. Nobody knows. This is pre-cell phone, so it's not like they can just find out where he is and call him.
Yeah.
This is like pre-pager, too. I mean, I guess I could have called the school and been like, hey, Mr. Tedesco, because he lives there, where's Mike? And he'd be like, I don't know, I haven't seen him since he, ran off chasing this wayward teen, 2 hours ago.
Yeah, I don't know. Which one's Mike?
Yeah, so...
So they go ahead to have dinner, and... Kate, is like, oh, Mike didn't tell you about my diet? And Maggie's like, you don't need to diet, sweetheart. You look amazing. She's like, no. And she's like, I don't eat bread. And I don't eat anything that had a face. And I don't eat anything that was cooked with something that once had a face. Yeah, Christy's like, well, because Maggie's like, oh, you love Grandma's dill bread. She ate it every day for 95 years. And then Christy's like, why'd she stop? And Maggie's like, well, she died. And Christy, starts freaking out, not realizing that's a perfectly normal thing to happen at that point. And then Maggie tries to give Christy some of the roast beef. And Christy's like, well, what did this used to be? And Ben's like, moo. Ben's just a total little shit. Total little shit to Christy.
And she freaks out.
It probably could have been, diffused, but Ben just ramped it up. And then, Maggie's like, well, Kate, at least you can eat the vegetables. And she's like, do you mind if I rinse them off? And Maggie's like, I washed them before I cooked them. She's like, no, it's because they were cooked with the meat. And you can just see, Maggie is trying to, hold her shit together at this point.
Yeah, she's losing her composure, losing her mind. It's like she's on the ledge at Don Draper's New York City swanky 1960s penthouse, and she's gonna jump off.
Yeah.
She's just gonna jump right off, and Jason's trying to hold her back. Oh no, it's fine. You know what? Here, why don't you have some of this? And it's everything they offer Kate doesn't work. So Kate doesn't eat. She just sits there in the same dress as Maggie, staring awkwardly.
And they're both thinking about killing Mike.
Yeah, they both want. Yeah, because we get voice. We go through the whole around the table. We get inner monologue, and it's Mike's not Mike. Jason's like, "Where's Mike?" Maggie says the same thing. Kate says it. I think even Carol says for some reason. Then it cuts to Ben, and he's like, "I wonder if I wonder if Kate has any friends."
I wonder if she'll sign my seed catalog.
Oh, yeah, that's what he says. I wonder if she'll sign my seed catalog. It's great.
So we have this horrendous dinner that totally fails. And this is the scene I was talking about where they broke character. Chrissy is, they're clearing the table. Chrissy, Ben, and Carol. And Chrissy's like, well, where does pork chops come from? And Ben's like, oink, oink. And where does this come from? And he's like, ah. And then he says something about the Easter Bunny. Chrissy is just done. She is traumatized at this point. And Carol is Ben. She hits him in the head. And I feel like Tracy really hit Jeremy hard because of the looks they get on their faces.
Oh, yeah. Because usually it's, you don't really get that her acting out against the brothers. So this must have just been years of tension built up. I mean,
you get her a little bit with Ben, but just the looks on their face, it was just it had to cut then, or we were gonna the whole thing was gonna be unusable.
Kate is you know what? I'm going home. She's like, I don't know where Mike is. I'm gonna kill him. Maggie's pissed, Jason's pissed, and they all just like decide they're gonna go to bed. They're like, well, it's, I don't know, 7 o'clock at night. We're just gonna go to bed now, I guess. They're all stressed. They didn't really get to eat.
Yeah. Carol is staying the night. Ben is in his room. Chrissy's in hers. Kate is long gone. Maggie and Jason are in their room, which is probably like one of my favorite TV bedrooms for parents.
Yeah. I can't play. Oh no, you know what? I did see it. I watched another episode. They showed it. It is a nice bed. It's like a big bedroom. It's very spacious and
it's a big bedroom. It's just nice. It's not like crammed. It's not too big. It's like a decent sized bedroom. Like very, very it's very Brady, a very Brady special Christmas kind of like.
Oh yeah. I can see it. Like, I don't know. We'll try to get a screenshot of it and add it in the show notes if we can. So we're going to kind of cut back over to Mike. He's out at Soho Pete's, and he's like, finally has convinced Luke to stay at the house because Carol's gone. Unbeknownst to him that like everyone in the house is just aggravated for whatever reason. Everyone's pissed off. Just go upstairs. Second door on the left.
Just go upstairs. This is where my sister's room is. She keeps this big stuffed dog on the bed. Just push it off. It'll be chill. Like, in the morning, we'll talk to my mom and dad, and we'll figure something out. It'll be good. So, like, Luke goes upstairs, and Mike's starting to go, like, towards the kitchen. He stops when he sees the table. He's like, oh, no, I forgot about the dinner. Kate's gonna be so mad at me.
And then he hears this, like, thud, and you hear, like, Carol screaming.
Yeah, and it's like this scream.
And we get that, like, freeze frame of him, like, trying to run up the stairs to see what's going on. Which, I had a problem with this.
Okay. It's not even that he runs up the stairs. He, like, runs to the stairs and, like...
Yes.
Jumps over the railing. Like, that was a classic thing he used to do. Oh my god, do you remember? It wasn't just, like, TV characters used to do stuff like that all the time.
I know, I always wanted a stairwell like that so I could do that, but didn't have one. I kind of have a problem with this last scene. Mike's bringing a stranger into the house who's a homeless kid. This actually becomes like a bit of a concern in the next episode to the parents, because they're like worried about this kid they don't know living in the house who's homeless. They don't know if he's dangerous, and they got like Chrissy and Ben.
And all of a sudden there's a bunch of empty like alcohol bottles and shit.
Oh yeah, because he's pouring them out, but they thought he was drinking them. So at the very least, I feel like Mike could say, hey, why don't you sleep in the garage with me tonight?
Right? I was thinking that too. Like,
why don't we grab that mattress? Why don't we grab that mattress? Like, is there anything you want to take from the school? Like, I don't know.
Okay, the Seavers totally have camping equipment.
Oh, for sure.
100%. There's something in that garage for Mike to have given Luke that night.
You know what? Maybe even Mike could be like, hey, why don't you sleep in the garage? I'll sleep in the house on the couch, kind of thing. And then...
Yeah, and then when his parents see him on the couch, they're like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, and then he can, like, kind of soften the blow that way. Not just, like, have some random kid just, like, sleeping in Carol's room. Like, what, like, you know, what if he, like, they hear a weird noise and they go in and, like, investigate? Because he thinks they're expecting Carol to not be there.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't know that. But, like, I don't know, what if he has to get up and go to the bathroom or something, or he gets hungry? Or he's, like, snooping around. Like, we already know, like, when Jason hears weird noises in the house, he already busts out this giant coat rack, this antique coat rack.
Right?
And if he sees...
Like, come on.
If he sees a young heartthrob in his, like, I don't know, bathroom at 3 a.m., you know, he's going to beat the fuck out of him with it. So...
Right? Like, who is this strange guy in my house where my daughter is? And...
yeah. Like, at the very least, he could have, like, you know... woken up his parents at this point. I don't even think it's that late. Like, they make it seem like it's like middle of the night.
I don't think it's that late either. I think it's maybe 10:30.
I mean, I guess it's probably a school night, so.
But still, like I said, I think it's like maybe 10:30.
But
to be fair, Mike and Jason and Maggie have been up since like 4 or 5:30 in the morning.
That is true. So they're just beat. They're done with the night. So then. We don't have time to go over, like, in complete detail of the next episode, but just, like, quick bullet points. the family ends up deciding to let Luke stay in the house. He lives in Carol's room because now Carol's not going to be coming home anymore. They told her she can't.
Yeah, after she gets pushed off the bed.
Well, she's been like kicked off the show or something. I don't know. We don't know. We kind of get Luke kind of bonds with everybody, but then they suspect that he's stealing Jason's wine bottles and drinking them, but he's really stealing them and like pouring them down the drain. But there's like a fun this part just like cracked me up for some reason. So they established that there's like a wine rack with like 15 bottles of wine that Jason had just bought, because he says, I just bought these yesterday or something, and they're all gone. Luke gets pissed because we end up finding out that his stepfather was an alcoholic who used to beat him, and then like after his mother died from cancer or something, like he almost like murdered him or something in an alcoholic rage. So Luke dumped out the bottles because he didn't want to get beat by Jason, and Jason's like, oh well, you know, I only drink like once a month, and I'm like, then why the fuck did you buy 15 wine bottles?
They were probably on sale, Patrick.
I don't know. I just thought it was like weird for like they established that like he hardly ever touches it, but I'm like, why did he buy so many?
I don't know. Maybe it was the wine club.
Yeah, like one of those like wine amounts or whatever. You're gonna get like so many to stay in the club.
Like, or it's like a gift from his like patients that he just, and so because the patients come to the house, he kind of has to have it on display.
Yeah, yeah. The patients are going to his house. What kind of Huxtable world?
Is right there. Like you walk in the front door, Jason's office is right off the side.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole like having like a doctor's office and like a house is such a TV thing that does this exist in the real world?
I don't know.
I just feel like if I was like going to a doctor's and like they just live there too, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going here.
I mean, at least on like
what kind of like serial killer doc?
Heart of Dixie, like, while the doctor's office is in a house, it is not where either doctor lives.
That is true. I don't know. Maybe it's like an old timey New York thing.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I mean, okay, think about it though. You gotta rent space for an office.
You're a doctor. You can afford this shit.
And get a tax break.
I guess so. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's a tax break.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I just don't know at this point.
I don't know. Maybe they're doing some crazy experiments, because how else would you explain Chrissy aging like 6 years in one season?
For real.
But yeah, that's Stop, Luke, and Listen by the Growing Pains, by the clan of the Growing Pains.
Yeah, it's a solid episode.
Good episode, I think.
It's got a nice little cliffhanger.
Yeah, little cliffhanger to tide us over till the next week to see what's going on. All right. I'm going to ask the age-old question. I'm dying to know what Kat Howell said the author thinks of Stop, Luke, and Listen in 2021 on a scale of 1 out of 5 stray cats. How many stray cats?
I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay, all right, I'm impressed.
It loses a point for Maggie being so manic.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit higher.
But I feel like the majority of this tension is because of Kirk and Chelsea themselves.
Oh.
And the tension between the cast and them. I think that's where a lot of this comes from.
Yeah, there's something's missed this season. There's just kind of, well, now I know what's going on, but at the time I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to give the episode a 4.5. I really enjoyed it, and I was like expecting there to be more, and it ended, and I was like, shit, I'm gonna have to watch the next episode now. And then I just kind of kept going.
Right? I was like, crap, I gotta buy another episode.
Yeah, then I got like 3 in, and I was like, all right, I get it now. I get the point. I know what's going on. But it loses 0.5. I think Maggie, as you said,
this is not our girl Maggie Malone-Seaver.
No, like I feel like even like final season Meredith Baxter Burney on like Family Ties, she's like still great, still amazing. I don't know, Maggie just couldn't keep it together. I don't know, 20 more episodes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Overall, I enjoyed it though. Great time. I'm glad we did this episode and not the Brad Pitt one. We'll save it for another time. Maybe we'll do a Brad Pitt Night of the Iguana episode double feature. Who knows?
Okay.
Any last minute thoughts on the Seavers, on Leonardo DiCaprio, his career?
A few things. One, my 10th grade English teacher had the Leonardo Romeo and Juliet aquarium poster hanging in the classroom.
Okay.
And my teacher was a male, but we did Romeo and Juliet that year.
No, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I kind of remember the year we did Romeo and Juliet, it had just come out movie theater, so we did like a field trip to like the dollar movie theater to see it like in its last like week when it was out.
When I went to see Romeo and Juliet opening night at the movie theater.
I didn't see it opening nights, but I saw it fairly close to opening night.
I saw it opening night with my friends Michael Benedicto, Donald Rolke, and Christopher Allen Poole. And
shout out to the gang. Cool in the gang.
I only know what happened to one of them. Because we're still Facebook friends. The other two I've never found on Facebook. So. All
right. Well, if you're listening to this,
I don't know.
Send us a hot message. Tell us where you are. Tell us what it was like being at the opening night of Romeo and Juliet.
Tell me you guys are alive, because like nobody seems to know what happened to you guys after high school.
What did you think of Paul Rudd being in it?
Oh my god!
It just totally just hit me that Paul Rudd was on it.
Also, Michael from Lost.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Harold Perrineau, whatever his name is. Do you want to hear the wildest thing?
Yeah.
I was on, I think the Vulture website earlier today, and I found a quiz. It came out like 2 years ago, and it was, they had 2 pictures of Paul Rudd, and there's like 30 of them. It's like the Paul Rudd quiz, and you have to guess in like each of the picture pairs which one he's the oldest in. And it's hard. It's difficult. Because some of them I'm like, oh, he's older here. And it's like, no, this picture was taken in 1999. The second picture was taken in 2004. And I was like, oh, my God. Google it. Google the Paul Rudd quiz. It's more difficult.
Oh, my God. I will put that on my list.
Add it to the list. All right. Yeah, I definitely didn't see Romeo and Juliet on the night it came out. But I did see it like maybe first weekend. But I totes had the soundtrack. Garbage was on it, Number One Crush.
Oh, yeah. I still have the soundtrack. It's in my car right now.
The Desiree song was on there. What else is on there? I feel like there's a Radiohead song.
God damn. I'm going to have to pull this shit up on Spotify now.
Is it on there? I feel like I've tried to look it up before and I couldn't find it on there.
Maybe.
They came out with like a second one, too. It was like more music from Romeo and Juliet. And I was like, there's more music? Hold on, I'm looking it up. See if it's on there.
Oh, yeah. Totally have it. Also, yeah, it's just a playlist.
Love Fool by the Cardigans is on there. Everclear has a jam.
That was it. That was the song. That's like the whole reason you have the album was for Love Fool.
The Butthole Surfers are on there.
Yeah. Oh, so I have this story for you. When I came home from college, I remember my dad's like, oh, hey, don't get freaked out if this guy walks into your room. And I'm like, wait, what? So they had been letting this guy who was like friends with my brother and stepsister like stay with them, and he had been using my room. He's like, I never really even had a set room. I was like always moved around whenever I was coming home for the holidays or whatever.
Is Leonardo DiCaprio coming to live in your house?
They had been letting him stay in my room. They told him I was coming home, so he couldn't stay there. But they're like, just in case he forgot that you were coming home today, don't get freaked out.
Wow.
If some guy just like walks into your room and I'm like, like for real. Like the good thing is this is when I could like fall asleep no matter what, because it was when I was recovering, when I had mono, so I would just pass out.
So you would have just slept through it anyway. When he pushed you on the ground because he thought you were a giant stuffed dog.
Dog. You see the stuffed dog in the next episode too. I remember Ben coming in and playing with it and Carol getting pissed.
No, Ben doesn't play with it. He beats the fuck out of it. He like...
Yeah. I was trying to be nice.
Oh man, he like smashes that thing against the wall. He's like whipping things. Like he's fucking crazy. Like a Ben Seaver. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm excited for next week. Next week we are gonna do the episode that you thought we were doing this week.
Yay!
We might have brought it up in the last episode. I can't remember. I don't know. It might be cut out. It might not. So who knows? So. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. So next week we're dipping back into a book club, but we're not doing a Sweet Valley High, which we forgot about for some reason. We forgot to do the next installment, but we'll get to it. We'll get to book 4 or something.
We thought it was time to see what else we could find.
Yeah, because we've only done a few book clubs, and we did the Boxcar Children.
We did a Boxcar Children, a Goosebumps, and mostly Sweet Valley High.
Yeah, and we were kind of, Goosebumps and Sweet Valley High kind of rubbed us not Sweet Valley High.
Boxcar Children.
Boxcar Children kind of rubbed us the wrong way. Yeah. Didn't own up to memories of wonderful childhood memories of... We're going to go into a book that I've never read before. You have apparently know all about it.
I read the entire series, and I was an adult when I read this series.
I mean, it came out when we were adults, so...
Yeah, I mean...
But it does tie into television because I have seen pretty much almost every episode of the TV series that's based on this book series. And HBO Max...
Yeah, I've seen every episode.
Yeah, HBO Max even has the reboot series. By the time this airs, it's probably already out.
Yeah, because it comes out like the 8th of July, and it is the 22nd of June.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw this out there. It doesn't look that good. But I'll still watch it.
I'm going to watch it and see how I feel. I'm curious. I'm going to tell you, listening to the book, because I've been listening to it, the audiobook, and I'm just like, oh, that's right. In the book, this character is more like this. They are in the TV show. There are some major differences between the TV show and the book.
So the book is like the pilot episode pretty much for the most part, right?
The first book very much sticks with the pilot episode is very much about like based on the first book, but then it starts to veer off. It
veers off. Okay. So we're doing the first book in the Gossip Girl series. Oh yeah, narrated by whom?
Oh my god, Christina Ricci.
Yes. How does she do? I haven't listened to it yet. How does she do in it?
You know, I don't realize it's Christina Ricci. There's also another voice who does the actual like Gossip Girl bits.
Oh, is it Kristen Bell?
No, it's not Kristen Bell, sadly.
Oh, that would have been great. Okay. I think they recorded this before the show even came out.
I think so too, yeah.
I remember reading it. I think it's like 2006 or 5 or something whenever they recorded this book. Because that was when like getting celebrities to record audiobooks was like a huge thing.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I feel like they still do that, don't they? I feel like it's still a...
Some do. Like, there are people who, like, that's like their whole bread and butter is doing audiobooks.
Yeah, I think Eliza Dushku does a lot of them. I feel like I've seen her on like iTunes. Like, you can buy it, and I was like, oh, she's doing, like, because, like, where's Eliza Dushku been? Like, I know she was going to do that show on CBS, but she was like, no, I'm not doing this show, because fuck Michael Weatherly, but...
Yeah.
Join us next week. We're going to we're going to listen to the audiobook of Gossip Girl Book 1. Is it just called Gossip Girl? Does it have a...
I believe so, yes.
Just Gossip Girl? Okay. Do all the other following books have, like, fun titles? Like...
Yeah, it's, they do. Oh, gosh. I should have pulled this up already.
It's alright. I just didn't know if it was just, like, Gossip Girl, like, Book 2. I thought they'd have, like, fun names, like Sweet Valley High has, like, Double Love.
No, they have fun names, like... They do, because, hold on. Give me just a sec. It is... Gossip Girl, and then You Know You Love Me. All I Want Is Everything, Because I'm Worth It. I Like It Like That. You're the One That I Want. Nobody Does It Better. Nothing Can Keep Us Together.
So they're all song titles.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Don't you forget about me.
Where can you follow our wild ass adventures, Cat of the Author? Where can you follow us?
You can follow us on Twitter at Very Podcast. You can find us on Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook at A Very Special Podcast. Do not accept imitations. You have found us somewhere, so click subscribe. Tweet us, rate us.
All that jazz.
Review us.
And as always, girl,
bye!
Watch the stairs for Kirk Cameron jumping over them. I was almost going to do a rapture of Watch the Skies, but I decided against it.